Welcome to our brief Module 4 review. Let's start out by writing in Module 4. Then we're going to take our paper and we are going to give it a hamburger fold. And after we give it a hamburger fold, let's give it a hot dog fold. Or some people like to call it the corn dog fold. And now, adjust the paper here so you only see Lesson 4.1. So in Lesson 1, we talked about a comparison between two quantities, which is called a ratio. And when the ratio has two different quantities, we call it a rate, like distance and time, money and time, height and age. And if we talk about a rate that is out of 1, it's referred to as a unit rate. And the most common way to write a rate is as a fraction. Now adjust the paper so we can see Lesson 4.2. Now Lesson 4.2 is about two equal rates. And what do we call two equal rates? A proportion. Now to set up a proportion, we use two equal fractions. So we need to choose which value to put in the numerator on one side, let's say value A, and we put the value B in the denominator. So on the other side, you must do the same rate, same way, value A over value B. We can use a proportion to find a missing value if we know a rate and one of the other values. There were two methods that we discussed and showed in order to solve a proportion. One is using a common denominator or numerator, and the other one is using cross products, where we take the denominator of one side, let's say B, times the numerator on the other side, C, which equals to the other denominator times the other numerator. Now refold your review pamphlet so you can see lessons 4.3 and 4.4. So go ahead and label the lesson 4.3, and the last column is lesson 4.4. Now what do they have in common? What were we studying in those two lessons? What kind of a relationship? Well, we were talking about proportional relationships. So to be a proportional relationship, you got to have the rate of change or unit rate that is always what? It's going to be constant. And if the unit rate's always constant, we call it the constant of proportionality. It's a constant rate of change. And we represent that with a K, and K is Y compared to X, and the Y is the dependent, and the X is the independent value. And we use t-tables or t-charts to show the two sets of values, and we can represent the comparison between those two sets of values using an equation or using a graph. And the graph has to be straight and has to go through the origin. And that's it for our brief review of Module 4. Remember, finish strong. Practice, practice, practice.